class. So today we're going to be doing a relatively quick Python programming exercise tutorial. Let's begin. I'm going to be doing an example using chapter 1's programming exercise 1.5. This was not assigned to you, but it's very similar to the other programming exercises from the chapter. Okay, so first when you click on the link, you're going to see this screen, and in red letters, it says if you have ad blockers installed, it can prevent the assignment from launching. So please look at your browser settings to make sure that you're not going to have any impediments to completing the assignments. So let's start. When you click that link, it's going to open up into a new tab in your browser window. And here we are. Here is the code space, and right now my browser is just setting up the remote connection. This may take a few minutes. In the meantime, while this is setting up, you can see here on the left side of the screen, you have a navigation pane. You have your search, your explorer, source control, a whole bunch of cute stuff that you're probably not going to use in the course of this class. Here on the left hand side is the most important because here are your assignment instructions. You're going to press continue. Up here at the top, it shows you how to use the code editor. And here's how to use the GUI preview. You don't really need to worry about this too much. But here are your tasks. So basically the problem that you're going to be trying to write a script or a program for. So first thing, you usually would see this screen when you first open up the code space. Your problem, or the task at hand, I should say, will appear here. You click on it and it'll open up a new tab. All right, let's get started. So the task: a cuboid is a solid figure bounded by 6 rectangular faces. Its dimensions are its height, width, and depth. Write a Python program in cuboid.py that computes and prints the volume of the cuboid given its height, width, and depth as inputs. The volume is just the product of these inputs. The output should be labeled as cubic units, and then it refers you to learning outcome 1.4 from the text. All right, so let's get started. So first, I'm going to name my space using hashtag finding the volume of a cuboid. And I'm going to press return or enter for users of Windows. And now we're going to start. So the first thing we want to do is assign variables as inputs. So variables in this case will be height, width, and depth. So let's start with height. So first we're going to assign height, HEIGHT, space equals, and then another space. We're going to put float because we want to be able to represent a number as a decimal if need be. So float, open parentheses, we're going to put input, another open parentheses, and then what do we want to say for our program? So this is what's going to display. It's going to be like a prompt, the same way that when you log into Nest, you have a prompt that says enter your net ID and then enter your password. Those are prompts, and behind that wall that you don't get to see is a script like this. So input, and then I'm going to put parentheses because we're going to now write a string. Enter the height, and then we're going to put a colon and then a space, and that space is, when we run the script, is going to allow us to input a number. So next I'm going to press return again, and now we're going to do the same thing for width. Width space equals, and then another space, float, input, another open parentheses, quotations, enter the width, colon, and then space. Next is the depth. Depth equals float, input, open parentheses again, enter the depth. So now we want to define the formula for finding the volume of a cuboid. And we know that the volume is equal to the product of those three variables. So height space times width space times depth. Enter again. So now we want to print lowercase p, R-I-N-T, print, and then we're going to create another string. The volume of the cuboid is, then space. Now we're gonna, outside of the quotation marks, we're gonna put comma, and then the volume, another comma, open quotations again, cubic unit, because the task says that our output should be labeled as cubic units. So now let's try to run our program to see if we have written our script correctly. So the way we do this is to scroll down here in your companion window, and you're gonna run your code. As you can see, my grade is 100 because I test all my programs out before I assign them. So down here in the terminal, we see that our prompt came up, enter the height. So random number, 3. Enter the width, another random number, 5. Enter the depth, let's say 7. The volume of the cuboid is 105 cubic units, because 3 times 5 is 15, and 15 times 7 is 105. Now let's run this code just for shits and giggles. One more time. 1, width is 2, depth is 3. The volume of the cuboid is 6 cubic units, and we know that 1 times 2 times 3 is 6. So next, you want to calculate your grade to see how you did. And our grade is 100% again. Yay. You can look at the feedback. Passed, and it'll show you every time that you ran this program. This is pretty cool. And after that, of course, you should submit for a grade. I'm not going to submit here because as the instructor, what am I submitting? But that's pretty much it. Always refer back to the chapters so that you can know exactly what you're supposed to be doing and orient yourself. Vocabulary is very important here. Things like variables, what is an input, what is a float, what is an int, all those things matter. So happy coding.